The word walking simulator keeps getting thrown around. To simply call it just that would be doing the game a disservice. In Death Stranding, you basically play as a post-apocalyptic sci-fi FedEx delivery guy with the special ability to sense the world's dangers that most people can't even see. Since cities are isolated from one another, and the roads are basically non-existent, it's up to these brave Amazon Prime couriers to get packages to and from these cities, on time and with the goods intact. Don't get me wrong, there is a boatload of walking, but terrain traversal takes a simple premise of getting from point A to point B a bit more difficult. You have to construct ladders and climbing ropes to overcome rivers and mountains. The catch though is that everything you do make for your journey, you also have to carry on your back, adding to your overall encumbrance. With the more you're carrying, the harder it is to slow down on steep hills and just maintain your balance in general. With the added addition of crazy death ghosts, rain that rapidly ages you and your gear, and wilderness psychos just looking to steal your shit, the goal from getting from point A to point B goes from a simple hike to a puzzle survival game that takes proper planning and execution. Dealing with the death ghosts, called BTs, you use your baby in a jar as a sonar to stealth past near invisible enemies. What the fuck? In the midst of this madness, the aging rain called Timefall is constantly deteriorating your goods, so if you try to be too slow and stealthy, your stuff will get damaged and possibly destroyed. And lastly, the thugs known as mules are just on the prowl and looking to steal the goods you're transporting. You can run, you can fight. I found that beating them with containers you don't need seems to be effective. There are a lot of subsystems to wrap your head around, but the game slowly rolls out the mechanics so it doesn't ever feel overwhelming. The animations, while great, did seem finicky at times, especially when falling over or climbing rocks. There's an online element which I find extremely cool. Other people playing the game can build structures and ladders that you yourself can use on your journeys. It definitely makes the game feel a bit easier, knowing along the way there will be more than likely some kind of help. It also adds a cool risk-reward mechanic, where you can pick up other people's lost cargo and deliver it yourself, making the trek harder, but all the more rewarding. There is boot degradation, which seemed a tad silly. I don't think it added any challenge to change out my boots every once in a while. I get it's supposed to be a survival game, but it really didn't add any pressure to completing my routes. This is where the game really gets its juice. Death Stranding takes place in a broken America, where cities are isolated and basically terrified to go outside because of the dangerous environment. Playing as The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus, it's your job to deliver packages between these isolated cities while attempting to reconnect them all to something called the Chiral Network. With the BTs, Timefall, crazy sci-fi tech-like bridge babies, the world building is incredibly unique and takes after the over-the-top Kojima stories. So if you like twisted, weird sci-fi with not-so-subtle themes about connection, Death Stranding will fill that niche and then some. The game manages to keep the pace well if you don't dawdle about in the first couple chapters of the story, introducing new narrative elements while building off the old ones. It's definitely some good movie quality shit. Everything in Death Stranding is visually interesting, from the vehicles you drive to the endless mountains you traverse. The world looks and feels grounded, adding a sense of realism to the design. The setting is of course extremely weird. I mean, you're traveling with a baby in a jar on your chest, but nothing really felt jarring or out of place. With a sensible color palette, Death Stranding drops you into a wonderfully apocalyptic setting that looks both beautiful and terrifying at times.
Mistake, don't be so serious.
The music choice is great. When you're walking through the beautiful wasteland, a song will start playing, giving you an incredible feeling as if you were in a movie. It elevates the moments that are more or less easy walking areas. I even found myself rotating the camera during these moments to really capture the wonder around me and immerse myself in its world. All the sound effects are also great. It all helps blend together a realistic world. From the wind and rain to the sounds of Sam's gadgets, nothing ever struck me as jarring. And of course, with the help of many solid actors and actresses, the voice work is exemplary.
So, how does it feel to be back in the world of the living? Don't worry. I'm a doctor. Well, a coroner, originally.
Death Stranding has a core gameplay loop that feels consistent and builds as the story progresses. An exorbitant amount of time has clearly been put into this game and its mechanics, and the level of polish on it is extreme. A lot of the systems seem odd to put into a video game, but it's not unheard of. If you see it as a complex and overly indulgent walking simulator, it's not going to be a fun game for you. I personally saw it as a gritty puzzle game with survival elements. I enjoy those two categories, so I found the game to be fun. This is absolutely not something for gamers looking for a quick and exciting experience. This isn't a hack and slash, this isn't a shooter, this is a video game equivalent to an art gallery's main set piece. I'm giving Death Stranding a 9 out of 10. It truly packs a big punch into its $60 package, and I've enjoyed every moment delving deeper into its strange, over-the-top world that wonderfully blends together reality and fantasy. It's a cult hit game just short of a masterpiece that will be talked about for many years to come. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And please let me know what you thought of Death Stranding down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you have to say. This is Game Ghost, keeping it real, with too many games to play and not enough time to play them.